Neha Devan, welcome to ITV Gold. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, staying safe and healthy, and I hope you are too. We have so much to discuss with you. You are representing South Asians for Biden. What a great deal. You are the national director for that organization. So, just starting off this interview, could you tell us just a little bit about what South Asians for Biden is and your role in it?
Sure, yes. So we're a grassroots organization that really is dedicated to engagement, education, and mobilization of the South Asian community. I actually formed it back in December of 2019, and now, growing strong. We're about an 80-member national board, which is pretty large for a board, but that's comprised of, our advisory board. We have 39 state directors that oversee our 20 chapters. We have a series of committees, communications, rapid response, voter registration, field operations. And then we've also launched these national councils that you might be familiar with. So Indians for Biden, Bangladeshis for Biden, Nepalis and Bhutanis for Biden, and Pakistanis for Biden, as well as two faith-based groups, Hindu Americans for Biden and Sikh Americans for Biden as well. And I'm the national director for South Asians for Biden.
Wow, your website actually says that South Asians are a pivotal voting bloc with the ability to turn voters to the polls this year. I would love for you to address that statement. How come we are that crucial, pivotal, voting aspect, and where is the community right now looking at?
Absolutely. So, we are essentially going to be the margin of victory in this election if you take a look at all of the other groups voting traditionally. And also, if you look at 2016, in terms of the margins that Hillary Clinton lost by in some of the swing states, we actually have more, double, triple, quadruple that number in these swing states. So truly, when we say that we are a critical voting bloc, we really are, because we will be the margin of victory this election. And in terms of where the South Asian community is today, absolutely, hands down for the Biden-Harris ticket, without a doubt.
Yes, we have heard the news of about 80% South Asians being Democratic. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out this year. I want to talk now a little bit about issues that impact the South Asian voice, and I would love to get the perspective of the Biden-Harris campaign as to what they're going to do in order to change these situations. So let's talk with economy. We're looking at one of the worst economic situations in the country in the history of America. We're looking at a lot of unemployment. We're looking at a healthcare system which is in crisis. How is the Biden-Harris administration going to pull up the most vulnerable communities? How is this economic depression going to be solved?
So yes, I mean, look, it's quite a feat given what this country has suffered over the last 4 years. But the Biden-Harris administration has a Build Back Better plan, and I just right off the bat I want to say that dispel the myth that, if you elect the Biden-Harris ticket, this means that there's going to be an increase in taxes. Absolutely not. In fact, most people will actually see a tax cut approximately $625. If you make less than $400,000, nothing is happening to you. And so they have a very surgical plan in terms of what they're going to be doing for the economy, but specifically for the South Asian community, where we've seen our small businesses be ravaged by COVID-19. A lot of them have had to shut down. A lot of them didn't even get the appropriate loans to stay afloat. So they have a plan in terms of what they would do, and also a package for the Main Street in terms of building back the economy. Now, this is not something that's going to happen overnight, but this is certainly something that the average person can appreciate, as opposed to what we're seeing right now, where even the middle income Americans are seeing an increase in their taxes, because where the taxes are actually being cut are at the corporate level and for the richest Americans.
Meanwhile, the entire country, we're looking at overwhelmed health care systems. We're looking at overwhelmed hospitals across the nation. After these elections, we will still be in this pandemic and about to go into a really terrible surge as we speak. What is the plan of action there?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, part of the reason why we're in this hole is because of how it was handled, right? How the pandemic is handled. First, you have to acknowledge that it's a problem. You still have the president who's had COVID-19 saying, oh, don't worry about it. Well, yeah, you've had the best available treatment that a person could get in the world. Not everybody is fortunate for that. And not only that, you have insurance or you have the ability to pay for this. You have people whose insurance are pegged to their employment, who are unemployed, who have COVID-19, who don't have the ability to do that. So the first thing is to make sure that people, have health insurance, that you don't overturn ACA and have no accommodations for these people who have no other means of getting health insurance. The other thing is also to acknowledge that it's an issue. You listen to your scientists, you listen to your doctors, and you take the precautions that are absolutely necessary in order to preserve life. You make sure that those hospitals have the equipment, have what it takes to, see to those patients. And not only that, but a lot of state and local governments are not getting federal funding, which means that those funds then have to come from the essential workers, which are your ambulance workers or firefighters or police or what have you.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's certainly not helpful in a pandemic either. So one, the Biden-Harris administration is going to see to that every state, regardless of whether you're blue or red state, gets that essential funding, but also recognize, that masks are important. I mean, everybody will tell you that masks are important so that you can start to actually recover from this pandemic, both in a scientific way, from a health perspective, and then economically as a result.
Neha, while we are talking about this, there's so much racial unrest in the nation. We have seen this around the campaign trail as well. My question to you is, how is the Biden-Harris administration going to tackle this very pivotal issue of racism in this country? It has impacted South Asians as well. So I would love to know what they are thinking in terms of really making everybody feel included.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I think that starts with actually condemning, white supremacy, a lot of which, the targets of which have been South Asians. In fact, there's been a spike in hate crimes over the last 4 years. And so it's, there's also a lot of misinformation that's being spread that, if you come in with the Biden-Harris vote, then that means that you're basically voting for lawlessness. And, they condone all of this, protest and looting. Absolutely not. In fact, what's going on in Philadelphia with the looting and rampage over there, the Biden-Harris ticket is not for that. But what they want people to acknowledge is that there is a problem of systemic racism in this country that certainly affects our community as well, and get to the root of that. Take measures to actually, fix that, as opposed to just saying, there's good people on both sides and no need to worry about these white supremacy groups that are birthing a lot of this animus and a lot of these issues. And it's not about, defund the police, because that's not the position. It's about how do we actually make sure that the law enforcement and the public can do this together and walk shoulder to shoulder together to solve this problem.
Neha, has the campaign denounced white supremacy this whole time?
What do you mean, has the campaign? I must admit, I can't speak on behalf of the campaign. The South Asians for Biden is recognized as the only South Asian group, grassroots group, but I'm not authorized to speak on behalf of the campaign.
Well, I think they are doing as much as they can in denouncing white supremacy. I think that's something that we all in the nation should do. This brings me to immigration. Another huge issue for our immigrant South Asian community. We have so many living here that are still undocumented as well. What is the future looking like for immigration, especially when you're looking at South Asians, Neha?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, the fact that, you have President Trump, who has basically suspended H-1B applications that disproportionately affect South Asians and particularly Indian Americans. So we know the Biden-Harris ticket is going to revoke that suspension. They're also looking to, in fact, get rid of the caps, the quota caps per country, which disproportionately, again, affect Indians. I mean, I have friends who've been in this country since, 2000, and their kids will probably be eligible to get green cards before them. And then also develop, a roadmap to citizenship for those, I believe it's approximately 500,000 undocumented South Asians in this country. So there is a plan for, whether it's employment-based immigration, family-based immigration, and then also a roadmap of citizenship for those that are undocumented.
What about the DACA recipients, Neha?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the fact that this was formed under the Obama-Biden administration and the Trump administration is looking to repeal that. No, absolutely. I mean, the DACA recipients are a force in our community, and they've contributed it significantly. So the fact that, I mean, they will be safe.
Yeah.
under a Biden-Harris administration,
You know, this
guaranteed.
brings me to another topic that is, again, concerning the South Asian American community. Actually, I think all communities across across the country is the issue of women's rights. It has come up in this election. We are looking at perhaps an overturn of Roe v. Wade, which is, shocking women across the nation. What will the Biden-Harris administration do if Roe v. Wade is overturned, or is there's an attempt to overturn it?
Look, I mean, if it's overturned, it's going to be at the Supreme Court, right? If
Right.
the way that that can be solved is through legislation, which is going to have to be through Congress and sort of bipartisan support, which we have seen VP Biden do all over and over and over again. So, I am concerned that that right now, especially with Justice Barrett's confirmation, that is certainly a possibility. But I know that this is an issue that is very important to the Biden-Harris administration, and they will work to ensure that this is not the end of it, and that women's rights are preserved because it's important.
Definitely. And what kind of message do you think Senator Harris, especially in this situation, sends?
Oh, I mean, the fact that you have a president a presidential candidate who has chosen a woman
Yeah.
as a vice president candidate, she's a biracial woman, sends many messages, right? One being also you have a woman who has a seat at the table, making important decisions, guiding, leading. That's important. When you look at, a lot of these photographs coming out of the Oval Office, it's just white men making
Yeah.
decisions that affect women. So you have somebody on the second highest ticket who will be able to guide you and have that seat at the table for people such as myself who wouldn't have otherwise.
Have you seen an increase in momentum from especially women since Senator Harris came on the ticket?
Absolutely. I would say from women, from South Asians, from Indians, we are all very excited. We feel acknowledged. We feel heard. And there's been a tremendous amount of excitement. And, aside from just her characteristics of, being South Asian, a woman, she's a force in and of herself. She's confident. She's calming. She's energetic. All of that is very encouraging to us. And I think I have a daughter myself, and to have somebody like that who she can look up to is just inspiring and very significant.
Another thing that is concerning the community as well, as we're speaking, is the system of education, Neha. The education system has been flipped, turned around so much, from colleges to, high schools to middle schools to elementary school to even kindergarten. We're still trying to figure out which is a better setting for them in terms of virtual or in person or a hybrid. How is the Biden-Harris campaign, and will the Biden-Harris administration look at education in this country?
Yeah, I mean, so just with regard to just the virtual remote part, is listen to your scientists, right? So if
Right.
they're telling you that it's not okay to reopen schools, then you're not going to reopen schools. They know better than you, who's not a part of that community. And then in terms of education, and particularly if I can address the higher education part, the idea is not to use the interest that you get off of student interest of our young graduates' backs to then fund corporate taxes or cut corporate taxes, but you're giving debt to these kids who have this for years to come. So the opportunities for double Pell Grants, not taking away the public option for higher education, where if you serve for 10 years, you might have your loans forgiven, those types of things, then, pave the way for people to actually go into higher education and make a better life for themselves.
Yes, for sure. Another thing that I would like to discuss with you would be the LGBTQ community. They have come out in the forefront saying that they feel their rights are being threatened right now. I would love to know what is your take on it, and what is the South Asians for Biden take on it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, the fact that, there's, talk of gay marriage being overturned is just preposterous. I mean, we are moving forward in time, but we are actually going back in time in terms of a society. So, yeah, I mean, I think that what we are seeing in the South Asian LGBTQ community is just that. There's a lot of concern that they, just cannot move forward with their lives. And that's exactly the opposite of what the Biden-Harris ticket will do, because what they promote is diversity, inclusion, and equality. So, they're safe. Their marriage is safe. Who they choose to love is safe. That is not of concern to the Biden-Harris ticket. It's you live your life in the way that you want to be and want to do. And, the fact that we have justices right now that are even considering it, to me, is just preposterous, to be honest.
I would like to know how you've looked at both the campaign trails, just as somebody who has, observed it. How do you compare these two campaign trails?
If you just look at the rallies, the super spreader rallies that President Trump is having, and I'm just talking from the COVID perspective, to the responsible way that the Biden campaign has been running its campaign it's just completely divergent, right? You have somebody who has COVID-19 in their administration who's continuing to go to these rallies, and then you have somebody who's taking precautions and saying, no, you know what, I'm going to do this from home, but I'm still going to reach out to the public because what I care about is the public and their health and safety. And then also the fact that what I found is that there's been so much misinformation from the Trump administration, especially targeting the South Asian community, in complete misinformation. But the way that the Biden campaign has handled that has been positive messaging and messaging of their platform, and not necessarily, spreading rumors or any of that. It's literally everything just based on facts.
President Trump has time and time created this caution or this uncertainty about mail-in ballots. Are you also in that concern, or do you totally trust the mail-in ballot system?
No, it's a way to discourage voters and pander to his base, because who are the people who are actually doing that, right? So no, there's absolutely, and in fact, science is, the facts of the research has shown, the facts have shown, there's no concern of fraud with regard to mail-in ballots or any of that nature. So it's a complete farce. No, we're not concerned about that. And in fact, if that's the way that people choose to vote, we absolutely support that in these times.
Neha, for the next couple of days, while you are coming towards the end of this cycle, what are you focused on with South Asians for Biden?
Oh, we are just getting out the vote at this point. We have phone banks after phone banks scheduled. We also have our final event that is scheduled for this Sunday, November 1st, where we will get very, very prominent members of the South Asian community to talk about what's at stake with the respective fields. But really, it's just GOTV between now and then, and making sure that we are tagging people who then tag people who then tag people to ensure that they are voting.
Neha, if I was to ask you, how has this personally been for you, what would you say?
It's been very rewarding. It's been challenging at times. It's been exhausting, but it's been absolutely phenomenal. I'm so proud to support this ticket. To finally, after 4 years, I finally have hope, and I have done anything and everything that I could, along with my team, to make sure that we carry over that hope across the finish line, because that's really what's been driving us. And the fact that this campaign actually speaks to us, cares about us, considers us, has been really empowering, because we've just been ignored. We've been sort of spit on. We've been told that our countries are filthy, or that they are not, the traditional Nordic countries, so they don't really care. No, we are actually being seen and heard. We have somebody who looks like us who's on the ticket. That's significant.
I just have two questions left for you here. What, according to you, are South Asians learning from this election?
That the power of voting, that their voice actually matters, and also that we are a critical voting bloc at this point, so that politicians are paying attention to us in ways that they haven't before. And what I've also found is that a lot of South Asians who were just apathetic before, were never involved, regardless of which side of the aisle they're on, are actually getting involved, which is significant. And so it's very heartening for me to see for our community as well.
My last question to you has to be about voting again. For a person who may be choosing not to vote, we saw a lot of that in 2016. What do you say to them, Neha?
Not an option. It is absolutely not an option. There are so many people who come here to this country and wait and wait and wait for the right to vote, and people just are born into that. That's not an option. This is your way to act. If you don't vote, you can't complain, and you've had complaints over the last 4 years. You've got to make your voice heard. It's just not an option.
Well, Neha, thank you so much for your time here on ITV Gold. Please give a last message out on behalf of South Asians for Biden.
Please join us in voting, whichever way that you feel comfortable. If it is that you are choosing to mail, please make sure that you are in a state where that is actually going to be counted, because there are some states where it's not going to be counted by election day. But please exercise your right to vote and vote for the Biden-Harris ticket, because that is one that absolutely looks out for our community.
Well, thank you again for your time here, Neha.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.